What's going on? You're here for the after show for The Flash episode 6. And, ooh, it's cold in here. The icicle cometh. Let's talk about it.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey. What's going on, y'all? I thought this was so appropriate. Taking you back to what, the 90s?
I know.
Who knows the words?
I know.
Welcome to the after show for The Flash. Episode 6, The Icicle Cometh. This was a cold episode that we are going to share with you guys. And we want you to stick around all the way to the end because we have our special segment where we highlight our baddie. We have news and gossip, predictions, and all kinds of great things. So stick with us. But the first thing we're going to do is talk about this show. So I'm your host, Jaimi Alexander, and to my left...
Hey y'all, it's Chauncey K. Robinson.
Hey guys, I'm sitting in, but my name's Carlina Will.
And it should be said that Drew and Zach did not get taken into the Speed Force. They will be back soon, y'all. Do not worry.
So we missed them, we love them, and thank you. All right, y'all, so let's just jump right into this oh-so-cold episode. There was a lot going on here. We got a few different things going on. So what did you guys think about the episode overall as a whole?
I really like that we got the ensemble cast. I like that they mixed it and matched it when in terms of, that's what they're really good at with this show, mixing and matching. Everyone can kind of hang out with everyone. So I was very happy with that aspect of it.
Yes, and I just love to see more of Iris and Nora bonding. So I'm excited to talk about that and see Cecile kind of get her, mojo back.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like everybody was in their groove this episode, which was nice to watch. Yeah, we have the crew back. So let's just talk about all of that. We kind of want to talk about the teams. Everybody was kind of paired up. We had Cecile and Ralph. We had Nora, Iris, and Sherloque. And then we had Caitlin, Cisco, and Baddie dealing with Mr. Daddy Snow. So let's talk about those. Let's start with Cecile and Ralph because Cecile is so cute, first of all, with her 4-foot self.
She's so short.
And then putting her next to Ralph, I was just like, oh my gosh. You really saw how short she was, yeah.
Yeah, I really dug that. I thought it was cute because Cecile but she was with one of the Harrisons last time, and that was a nice dynamic that I wasn't expecting. So to see this one, I like that she's not just a side character where, she never interacts with anyone except when there's just this last minute thing to do. I like that she's very much has become ingrained in the ensemble and she's very useful. And once again, we're seeing this thing where she's useful outside of her powers, right? And they've been doing that a lot this season and showing how the characters are so useful without the superpowers.
Exactly. And I just love how she was able to accept that she is still intimidating and she's got it, because I saw a little bit of self-doubt, but then that Cecile that we all know, you know what I mean? That Cecile we know that swooned Joe and got him back, came out and was able to crack the case and they got what they wanted, which is great.
Yeah, she's naturally spicy, and I know even with motherhood, she's folding clothes and onesies. She was probably ready to break out and go do something.
She definitely seemed like she was cooped up. She's folding baby clothes, and she told Ralph, she's like, please don't leave me. And I was just like, well, she wants to get out of the house. And and I like that too, that aspect of playing up this idea of she's a mother, but she's also a working woman, and she likes being a working woman. It wasn't this idea of, okay, I just forget about who I was before I had this baby, which I think was great. They always have strong women power when it comes to the Flash, I think, and the women being so strong in personality, and we got to see that with Cecile. So I dug that.
I was so happy.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And then they even did flavor it with the little moment oh yeah, because my power is you're a little empathic and he was nervous and blah, blah, blah. So I kind of like how they threw that in, just a little bit about her powers to just kind of shows she still had that thing going on. Yeah, but she's just really cute, yeah.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, and Matt Munez in the chat, and you can join us in the chat on our YouTube channel. He said, hopefully Joe comes back soon. And I don't know, I think, did you notice, Joe once again isn't there? But we all know Jesse L. Martin is taking a leave of absence from the show. So
right.
We do miss Joe, though.
We do miss Joe. And so we had him. It was funny because you said that about the mom and, her being a mother, but still taking on the working woman role. But then you have the flip where Joe's out with the baby. Joe and Jenna are on the town. And, that's how they played that. So that was good. Daddy-daughter date out.
Yeah, it's very smart, too. Because it's like, oh, he's out with the baby. And it's fine. And it makes sense. And now Cecile can, do her duties. So.
Exactly. Go Mama Cecile.
Right. And that was a hot mess, that situation with Mr. FEMA. And everything he was
saying. My thing was, I was laughing. It's like when she was like, how can you afford a Lamborghini? Like, I was looking too. I was like, wait a minute, though. How could he? Right. I was like, she was like asking all the right questions and be able to use that leverage. And he thought just because he gave her the information, she wasn't going to rat him out. Come on, this is Cecile we're talking about. Of course she ratted you out.
That's right. And it was her war face. Her war face was on. Exactly. So it was going down.
I loved how petty Ralph was towards the end where he uses the box to just knock over stuff on this table. And I was just like, once again, it's like, we're, praising Cecile and it was really great. But like I said, I'm really enjoying Ralph this season. And this was another episode where he was very enjoyable. I don't know where the switch happened because, I kind of liked him last season too, but it was a lot and he was always like brooding.
Right.
And I think he's just been so like useful, but also just dynamic and funny too.
Wait, Chauncey, real quick though, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most petty, how petty do you think he was?
Oh, like 11.
That was definitely an 11. He enjoyed that so much.
He was 11, and I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed that he enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it.
We like a petty king.
Yes, we like it.
That's great.
I love it. So that was really good between them. I want to kind of move on a little bit and talk about Nora, Iris, and Sherloque, and that whole thing that they had going on. It was pretty quick, but we got a lot. There was a lot of meat with that. What did you guys think about those three kind of teaming up and getting out there and hitting the streets together?
I just love Nora and Iris together. I know it was a bit rocky for them in the beginning, but like just seeing them connect and bond, and the fact that she just wanted to work on this case with her mother, that was super sweet. And she did highlight their differences. She's really good. Her mom's really good at interviewing. She's good at running, but we were able to see them kind of like work together, which was really sweet. I don't know. I was so confused about Sherloque and the tea thing. I don't know if one of you guys want to explain.
He's very elaborate. He loves his tea. Like his first time he came.
No, but he had the whole setup, Chauncey.
Yeah. I don't know where he had that. Maybe in the car. I don't know where he pulled that out from.
Like, what is he rolling with? What I got from it, well, one, I can say I'm definitely relieved to see Nora and Iris be normal, compatible homies on screen. Like, I was really starting to get concerned about Nora and just this whole brushing her off. I'm like, what is going on? So I'm glad they rectified that, and it was nice to see them. But I really think the tea was such a distraction because Sherloque was kind of affirming Nora, like, I got you. I got a way that you and your mom can work together and do this. So I think he placed the whole thing right in front of everything so they could eventually figure it out on their own. They were placed in front of there was a carnival and maybe it's in the water. I think he kind of staged that and was just being extra.
Oh,
yeah.
I definitely kill time. You're right.
I got that vibe too. I got that idea that he was just kind of like, oh, and what do you think of this? How would you get there? Like he already had kind of figured it out and he allowed them to eventually figure it out, which was cool, but it was also kind of like, okay, so he was already like 5 steps ahead of them and just kind of waiting for them. But it was sweet too because he knew that they needed to kind of figure it out. With Nora, I'm glad she was acting better this episode because she was on my nerves like for most of this season so far. So it was nice that she's really finally seeing how cool Iris is and being in the present with Iris. So that was good. And it was nice. It was nice.
Iris is really cool, man.
Yeah.
And she jumped off a building last week.
Right. And that's what she was talking about. And I have to say with the casting side note, that was a perfect daughter. They look so much like they really look she looks like she could be a product of Barry and Ellen.
Yeah, Jessica Kennedy is like it's like a total like mesh of the
two of them. She does like the nose and fantastic.
I appreciate that. Sometimes you see people do the husband and wife and have a kid and you're like, where did this kid come from? These eyes, this hair. So that was just a side note. I was just looking because they were very side by side in this episode, and I'm like, wow, that was fantastic casting.
Yeah.
Well, before we jump into some of the other stuff, we definitely want you guys to stick around for our special segment that we have. We have news and gossip and all kinds of things. But before that, Carlina, you want to share with us?
Yes, absolutely. Hey, AfterBuzzers, our network produces after shows for nearly all your favorite TV shows. From dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more, there is no network that works harder to serve television fans. But we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about pesky notifications, don't be, because they're optional. So hit that subscribe button now for this channel and check out our other AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let us know you did in the comments. And, Chauncey will give you a shout out and we'll thank you on the air. For now, thanks for being the best fans and for helping us be the ESPN of TV talk.
Whoop, whoop. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much for that.
Of course.
So, yes. Now, let's talk about our third team. We're kind of saving the best for last year with this subject. We kind of broke up everybody in teams. The best? You not feeling the best dish? I mean, it was so juicy. Everything that was going on between, like, Caitlin, Cisco, and Barry, and dealing with Thomas Snow, like, that was a lot. What did you guys think about that interaction and that whole wild goose chase hunt / everything that was going on?
One of the things, the reason why I said best, because there has been some murmuring on the internet of people wanting the original Team Flash, back together. And I think this was a little bit of fan service to that, because randomly Barry, let's be real, I didn't mind, but like he hadn't talked like directly to Caitlin for like most of the season, right? And it had been like that for a minute now. And I think people were kind of like, they haven't talked, what's going on, original Team Flash. So I think this was really great for OG Team Flash, and people in the chat are like, OG Team Flash, Ivan in particular, who's in the chat, and that was great. So that was nice. It was nice to see their dynamic, and it was a lot of drama. Like, it was a lot of drama with Caitlin and her father, but yeah. So it was nice to see their dynamic again.
Yeah, I would have to agree.
I like it when Barry and Iris, I love that team up last week, but this was fine too.
Oh, yeah. Well, for this episode, I would say that this was my favorite team up. It was nice to see OG Team Flash back together, and I like how it was intentional. How I don't know if I missed something, but it seemed like Barry and Cisco had talked, so that way when they split up the original team to go deal with the other stuff, it was only them left, because that's when Cisco revealed, like, I found something. So what did you think about that reveal? I have my ideas about it, but I want to know what you guys think about it.
The reveal that he found some stuff.
That he found Thomas Snow in the bunker.
You know what? It's kind of like that friendship thing where you're like, please respect my decision that I didn't want to like do this right now, but it's kind of like, but what'd you find though? You know what I mean?
Right.
You always have that one friend, and that was Cisco. So I think Caitlin, as you could see at first, was very taken aback. Like, oh my gosh, you went around my wishes. But then she's like, wait, you found my dad? Let's go find him.
Right.
So I did respect that. And then, him using his powers, even though he was injured, to go out there and he's like, I'm your friend. You really got to see that bond between not only Cisco and Caitlin, but with Barry and, like you said, the OG Flash team, which was really sweet. I'm excited. Girl, I want you to get into the tea when they discovered their dad. I knew he was evil from the beginning. I knew
right? That was the thing. It was too easy, right? Like 5 seconds into getting there, oh, hey, Dad. And I'm just like, and at first, with most of them, I kept writing down anticlimactic. Because I was like, okay, she found the dad, and then brought her back home. Was that it? Like, that's it? Like, he was just hiding out there? None of that made sense. Although I did feel like, at first, before we found out, I knew something was shady going on.
Right.
But I did kind of feel like Cisco was really overtly hostile. I don't know. Did you get the vibe that I felt like he was? I liked that he was suspicious, but he was just kind of like throwing real like hostility. Like, why couldn't you be a little bit more subtle? This is her dad. Like, it just. I know he was being protective, but it was kind of like, well, what do you want? It's like, wow, like bring it down from like.
I agree with her.
60 to 20.
No, I agree with you. Like, she should have at least pulled her aside, right?
Yeah. He was just already coming at her. I'm like, you being a little disrespectful to her father. I mean, you know he's probably evil, but you being a little disrespectful. And Barry's there, open, bleeding heart Barry, who was like, this is just like Nora, you know? Like, that's how he was. That's how he was, right? So it was just, so you had like good cop, bad cop going on there. It was really, I was like, okay.
Yeah, I feel like the dynamic was totally good cop, bad cop, but I like that. First of all, Cisco's changed so much this season. He's not the same. He's the same, but he's not the same. He's had some kind of issue that's from being drunk or just sad, or, he's had something pretty much injured. he's been beat up this episode.
Yes.
So with that shift, I kind of can embrace the more brash side of him where he is kind of like, I don't know. Like, why wouldn't he feel that way? He just got his hands cut up, broke up with, he's kind of on that side. And I also appreciated it too because maybe I'm kind of like that. Like, you just gonna waltz in after 20 years. It was so easy. Like, but this is my dad. It's like, sweetie, you have not seen him in 20 years. We done traveled all kinds of worlds and earths and seen meta this, his arm. Like, what did Barry say? Let's be less something and more CSI, or was that?
That's what Cisco said to Barry. He was like, why don't you be less like, father to Nora and more of the CSI Barry. And I got that. But at the same time, I was just like, all this time, how Caitlin has felt about wanting her dad and stuff like that. So why are you just being openly hostile? Like, I don't know. But then again, sometimes, Cisco's awkward with stuff. So it kind of goes along with the way he's been. And their bond and him being super protective, but I just felt like it could have been a little bit more subtle. It was just like he was going at him hard.
It was really hard.
I liked it because he's still a stranger in the Star Lab house.
But that's true. He is a stranger.
Yeah. And then it was kind of weird, too, because he was talking about how Wells had helped him and given him access, so he's just been watching the whole time.
That was my first issue. Yeah. I was like, Wells.
That's why I said I knew he was bad.
Because Wells was Reverse Flash for a minute. Right. So which Wells was it that gave you this kind of access? And once again, the bad security of Star Labs. I mean, Cisco just like, so you've been, I'm like, this
you've been watching us.
Everyone could just walk up into this place. There's cameras. People are being watched. They don't even know. They really need to do an overhaul of this facility.
Star Labs, the remix. Let's get some 2018 or whatever year is going to be better security than that.
Right.
So I think, too, with the father, another thing that kind of stumped me, but I found interesting was that, so it's official. He created
Killer Frost.
And he's one also.
Yeah. Icicle.
What do you guys think about that? Like, 20 years ago that this happened, he did this to his kid, and he knew about this, and I'm guessing that's why mom locked him away. She's evil, but she's not that evil. She's strong, but I feel like she did what she had to do.
Yeah. I definitely agree. That's just so hard because you want to save your kid's life, but then it also comes at a cost, right? But he did not. I know Caitlin was really young, but she didn't have that chance to decide her own fate, what she wanted to do. Because we all know, and we've seen through this, all these seasons, what Killer Frost comes at a cost.
Exactly.
Yeah. And all those people, she's killed, etc. To save your kid, I get it, but I also see where Caitlin's coming from as well. That was really hard for me. You know what I mean? It was hard for me to process.
No, I totally, I mean, we've been seeing this similar theme of family issues, and this was, we saw that with Nora and Iris, and we kind of saw this with Caitlin and her father in the sense of losing her father, and there was a parallel of that, and that's why Barry, I think, saw that. But I also... It was kind of like, I like the way they ended up revealing that, because like I said last week, I was like, I hope they don't make it so she's like some reincarnated goddess or something. Let's keep this science-based. And we got a lot of science this episode, which was cool. And I like this idea that he did it to save her, in the original sense. And it was a tragic kind of thing. He did it to save her and save them both. And he ended up kind of having this duality in him, just like father, like daughter, which was kind of, tragically poetic in a way.
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't know how I feel about it. I guess it depends on how it continues to unfold, which I'm sure it will.
Yeah, he got away.
He got away, so he popped out. I'm sure he'll pop back in
somehow.
Popped out. I was like, where'd he go?
Like, that's what I was thinking in the episode. I was like, where'd he go, y'all?
And then it was like, next scene. And as much as I love Caitlin, I actually am a fan. I was aggravated to see her be so naive. Like, I wanted to have heart for her. Like, I mean, I get it. Like, this is your only family, this, that, and the other. But at the same time, I'm like, girl, is it possible? Like, just look, listen, and think. Like, has Cisco ever done you dirty? You know what kind of business you're in. I just wanted her to, I mean, of course, for the script, it made perfect sense for her to act that way. But I was a little bit just like, okay, we can't be that green. You haven't seen this guy in 20 years. He could be anything.
Yeah, but love can,
It's her dad.
Yeah.
It's different when it's a parent. It's not her third cousin.
Yes, or it's not a long lost friend. Like, where have you been all this time?
It's her dad.
And, I think it was also probably this idea that she had so much animosity towards her mother that she was, even in this episode, she was so quick to say mom was the one that did it, didn't she? Yep. She was the one that locked you away because she, just like Nora, was so hostile towards Iris because it's like, I know how you are, and dad would never do that. Caitlin was very much the same way.
That's very true.
So of course she jumped to a lot of conclusions. It wasn't as immature sounding as Nora normally is, but it was very much naive, like you were saying, because she wanted to see something in her dad. She had put him on a pedestal.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think the way it played out was very interesting, very entertaining, and I can't wait to see what happens next, especially when it comes to the dad. We'll have to stay tuned for that. But why don't we jump into our special segment and start talking about this baddie,
the baddie of the week.
Of the week.
Yes. Well, normally, Zach does this, so I'm gonna be brief, but I'm gonna hold up the mantle. So this episode we got Icicle, which we kind of made jokes about last time about his name being Icicle. I think it was like Icicle Jr. we thought it was going to be called.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So it turns out that basically Icicle is Caitlin's father. And what we know is that he's actually from the comic books, which of course it would make sense because this is the Flash. And that his name is Cameron Machant.
Okay.
And basically Cameron inherited in the comic books, and we have some pictures. So it seems like, he looks like basically like the abominable snowman sort of, usually. And they kind of played on that a little bit. He's tall and lanky, very much like Caitlin's dad was. And he inherited in the comics his ability to freeze objects and people and even lower the temperature of the area around him from Jorah's exposure altered genetics. So it was very scientific, and his skin changes color to appear like an albino, which we sort of saw.
We did. We
tonight.
saw that.
It changed. He's a member of the Injustice Society and has been a foe to Justice Society of America, though he's also been in issues of Batman and Superman, but he's fought the Flash often. So, we will probably be seeing more of him. I think it's kind of cool that they did end up connecting him to, connecting Caitlin's dad to like this big bad as opposed to a one-off, which
you're right,
or like you were saying, some goddess from back in the day.
And then like having no connection or whatever like that. So I think this was his debut in the Arrowverse.
Ooh,
so that's really cool. So
and that was Killer Frost's debut this season.
This season.
That's true.
So that's the baddie of the week, y'all.
So. Thank you for sharing that. And I did, aside from that, I did appreciate seeing Killer Frost come back just for a second. And I like how they even tied that in, like, when DeVoe did this, it was a brainstorm, and he blocked it. I like the way that they're wrapping it all together and tying it up so that we know what's going on. So I guess it would be time to jump into news and gossip.
Yes.
TV News.
Okay, so what we have for news and gossip, there was some celebrations going on, but the next celebration is the 100th episode of The Flash. We made it to 100 episodes, y'all. Yay. And we have some pictures for those of you who are watching of them of the 100 episode stills, which basically what it's going to be called, the 100th episode, which is episode 508, will be called What's Past is Prologue. And what we'll see is Barry and Nora possibly time traveling, and we know that never works out. So we'll see how that works. And also we will have Sherloque talking to Iris about Nora, because we've seen that he's been somewhat we saw in an earlier episode that he was somewhat like suspicious of Nora's motivations and whatnot. So it seems like by the 100th episode he's really probably going to have some more sort of thought process, and he's going to confront Iris about that. And I'm kind of wondering what Iris is going to respond, because once again, love makes you not want to see certain things.
Right.
So we'll see if it's bad or not. And then this week, in connection to the 100th episode, they celebrated the 100th episode at a red carpet event, and we have some pictures from that of the cast looking very snazzy.
Woo-hoo.
Tom Cavanagh, look at that guy.
He's amazing.
You see, there was a lot of celebration going on. The head of CW Network, that was a great dress she had on. the head of CW Network, one of the highlights, they were talking about all the cast and stuff. And one of the things he said about Candace was about how she has changed the legacy of Iris West and also the DC world. So it was very nice that he highlighted her. And yeah, it seemed like there was a lot of fun. And it's just awesome that we have come this far. With the Flash.
I love it.
So.
That's so fun.
Yeah, just happy stuff before Thanksgiving. No gossip. No one's dying yet.
No.
on the show. So.
Well, somebody appeared to be dying, and I guess is getting stronger. Why don't we talk a little bit about Cicada and what he has going on? He made a little mini appearance sprinkled all through the episode.
Groaning and grunting.
And moaning and panting and trying to figure it out.
He's so weird.
Right?
He's so weird.
It's really strange. I still want to see more with his character and really understand. I mean, we know his motives and things, but who hit him in the lungs? I don't want to be the only green one. I don't know what happened to his lung. That first...
Oh, yeah, I think that's
wound that he has. I'm not sure where that came from. Do you know?
Either.
Well, from my understanding, and I don't think they've played it out, I think in the next episode we'll probably see the flashback of what exactly happened, because this whole episode, like, they were trying to get to the satellite, which they think basically a shard of it hit what we eventually find out his daughter, or maybe it's his daughter, but also may have hit him as well. And so I think a couple episodes ago, it seemed like some of the shards had like maybe gotten into him or something like that, and were like manifesting inside his body. Yeah. But we're seeing that it's so much pain coming from it. So, and
then his knuckles were lighting up. I have to admit, when we saw Raylene in that open scene, when the dagger lit up, because there was, I guess, some more dark matter around the meta, when she got her swords out and was chopping him, I thought it was like it was her that had did that to him or something, because she gave him the second
connection. But I guess it would also be that, like, because he's not a meta. And it's so brutal.
Right.
Well, he's not he may be a meta now.
I think he's becoming one.
Yeah, because it seems like the shard of metal is, like, connecting to his body, but also, like, killing him from the inside or something. And that was the thing about this episode. It was so much grunting, and he was in so much pain this whole episode. And then you had the nurse, who I guess she also hates meta. I mean, this is kind of hate crime stuff. Like, what he's doing. Yeah. And it's so brutal. Like, he just picked off that woman, like, and I guess maybe she might have done something earlier. Okay, so she wasn't completely innocent, because the nurse did say, oh, I just, yeah. Right. So, okay, she's not completely innocent, but still, it's like he's brutally murdering these people, and I'm like...
And she's with it.
Yeah, she's like, I'm tired of them too. I'm like, y'all just, like, on some, like, hate crime thing with metas.
I guess that'd be another strange team we could add to our list of teams. They're strange.
That was a dynamic duo of evil this episode. Yeah, I kind of want to know her backstory, why she's so adamant about, I mean, I get it, she's a doctor, and maybe that was the throwaway line of why her motivation was. But, I mean, how did she even come across him, to kind of team up in this way? I don't know.
Yeah, because she's so down with... Did she go to his house or his hideout?
She went to his house,
everything. Yeah, that's interesting.
And there seemed to be a wife in the picture, because that was him in the picture, right?
And I was trying to figure that out.
Like, where's this wife? Did she die? Maybe she died from the shard, and then the daughter also, got seriously hurt, and then he was left. Something like that.
Yeah.
So obviously he's been affected by it, but it's like, how did that change into, there's a blast and suddenly you hate all metas, though?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
you gotta fill some of that in.
Yeah, I don't know. I could see it. Your whole life has changed. We don't know what happened to his wife. His daughter's been in this coma for who knows how long. I could see that, and he's injured. I could see where the hate is coming from, but I don't think he should categorize all metas as evil. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's on a mission.
Yeah, because Barry's a great meta, the Flash. So he should not be targeting him. Everybody knows he's the good guy, so I don't know.
Yeah, they're superheroes. That's why I'm hoping this plays out where it's like, because sometimes with these villains, you wait, and I'm glad they seem to be breaking it up this season, where we're not gonna have to wait all season and know what this guy's about. Right. But sometimes you wait, and then you finally get the reveal, and you're like, that's it? Like, that's why you're so mad. So I'm just hoping it's not. I'm hoping there's a nicer payoff than my daughter got hurt and now I want to kill everybody. Like, come on. Like,
yeah, it's something deep. Like, I want him to go in with that, especially now that we know there's a wife in the picture. Literally, I want to see something big with that. So, I mean, since we're here, why don't we talk predictions? You've got the Flash chain. Let's get into some predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV.
I'm gonna let Carlina start.
Yeah, I feel so great. Like this is fantastic. Okay. So first, I think this won't be the only case we have with Miss Nora and Miss Iris. I think they're gonna keep teaming up together. I think Caitlin is going to make it her mission to find her father. The OG team is coming together to find this man who they brought back. Because I think Barry and Cisco are going to feel a little bad that they brought him back into her life and that he's evil. You know, so I feel like they're going to team in out of guilt and wanting to help their friend.
Right.
Sherloque, who knows what's going on with him. In terms of Cecile, I would like to see Cecile get back to work. That's my hope.
Yeah.
So that's what I would like to see. So there you go.
Yes. I hope that we eventually return to why Barry disappeared, because no one seems to be having that on the top of their mind. I get it. Cicada is killing people, but he also disappears soon, y'all. Like, not soon, but like, that's a mystery. Can we get back to it? And that's why I think Cicada's, plot line is coming to a climax, which is good. And we're getting that through. And then maybe the next segment will be about the whole thing with Barry. And yeah, hopefully we'll see more of Iris being such a kick behind woman. So, yeah.
Yes, I would have to agree with you, especially on Barry, his disappearance, and just what I really liked the old team when they really got into what happened with the timeline. And, we know things changed since Nora has come into the picture, but I want to start to know what ripple effect did it create? And do they have to go to another world to fix it? And, I kind of like that, that dynamic between them when it comes to the timeline. So I'd love to see something with that. Definitely some more Nora and Iris. And what else? I do want to see more of Cicada and get this story unfolded, or another piece of it, something to excite me, to help me figure out why he's in the picture still and what significance he has overall in like a grand way. So I'm hoping to see something grand when it comes to Cicada next week. And that's it, girls. I think we did that. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And you can find us next week, same time, same place. And yeah, I'm your host, Jaimi Alexander, and you can find me on Instagram at Jaimi Alexander.
And you can find me on Twitter at Miss Chauncey KR, also on Rotten Tomatoes, as I am an official film and TV critic, and also right here, like next, as I will be doing the DC Titans panel. So stay tuned for that.
Ooh. Yes. You guys can find me on Twitter at Cook with Carlina, and then on Instagram at Cooking with Carlina. Thanks for having me, you guys. And trust me, Drew and Zach will be back.
Yes.
I'm not replacing them. I saw you guys' comments. I promise.
We love them. Thank you, guys.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.